UK MPs want photos of hijab-free Muslim women treated like uh, child prawn. I'm going to use a code word, okay, for that because I'm not going to say those words on YouTube. We're going to get nuked. So I'm going to use the acronym CSAM, okay, which is the like legal term for it. Okay, so if I say CSAM, you know what I'm talking about. In a stunning move, UK lawmakers are pushing to treat photos of Muslim women without the hijabs as the same as child actual abuse material or CSAM, arguing that such images should be criminalized as non consensual intimate images or NCII. A new report from the House Commons Women and Equalities Committee demands the government expand the legal definition of intimate images to include culturally intimate material, claiming that sharing photos of hijab free women could be disastrous for the victim. Committee chair Sarah Owens defended the idea, saying non consensual intimate image abuse is a deeply personal crime that can have life changing and life threatening consequences. Critics, however, blasted the proposal as absurd, with David Spencer of Policy Exchange warning that it could force the police to wade into so called cultural issues at a time when violent crime is already overwhelming law enforcement. If passed, the law could equate exposing a woman's hair with some of the most serious crimes on the books, raising alarming questions about free speech, cultural accommodation, and the future of British law. So, there is a couple of things to unpack here. So, let's start at the beginning. First of all, the government, there's a larger context here. The larger context is that the government is looking at increasing and changing the law regarding non-consensual intimate images, which is the long legal way of what they mean is revenge prawn. Okay. Revenge prawn. Revenge prawn is when maybe there was a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and when they were in a relationship, um, they maybe had some sexy photos that they sent back and forth. Maybe they had a little video, whatever, whatever. And after that person, they break up, and then one of the people, one of the exes, releases those sexy photos as revenge, so to speak. Or um, it could even be a situation when someone is recorded, when they don't know it, and recorded in this environment where they would assume that they would have privacy. So, like, basically, maybe being recorded in a sexual scenario without their consent, and then that's released. And this is a really big problem, and the consequences of revenge prawn are very serious, and it can be very devastating for people. I've had friends that are victims of this. It's it's devastating, and it is really serious, and revenge prawn is unacceptable, and it does need to be taken seriously. So, basically, this is happening in the larger context of the government wanting to take action on behalf of victims of revenge prawn, which okay, cool. I'm on board with that. And so what they're doing is they're saying, okay, right now the crime of revenge prawn is about creating it and about disseminating it. That's the current legal that's the current crime on the books. But what makes it difficult is that these images are often distributed all across the internet, and oftentimes you can ask for those images to be removed, but there's about 10% of sites where they will not remove it. And this content that has victimized someone will still be out there and accessible. So, what the government wants to do or is proposing is that they say that basically you should make possession of this material a crime. And to make possession of a material, the crime, this basically is putting revenge prawn into the same, um, legal standing or, like, categorization as CSAM, as the, bad things against children. It's putting it on the same level. And I was looking into this, I was like, "Why is that?" It's not because that they are saying that they are morally equivalent. It is not the government saying that revenge prawn and CSAM is morally equivalent. I think we could all agree that while revenge prawn is very traumatizing, the CSAM is on a completely different level of what is, you know, intolerable and abusive. It's a whole different level of horror, right? They're not saying that they're morally the same or even the same in terms of the harm caused. They're just bringing them to the same level because that would enable the government to have the tools to go shut it down. So they would have the tools to go like block the websites promoting it. They would have the tools to go after servers and stuff. It would just give the government more tools to be able to go after it and protect the victims of the revenge prawn. Okay. So I hope people understand like that mechanism. Um this person is spamming. So
Yeah.
basically, when they're talking about this larger issue of helping the victims of revenge prawn and like enabling the tools for the government to go take this material down and what that could look like, at the same time some labor MPs are saying, okay, what also needs to be included within this larger category of revenge prawn is images that are culturally sensitive. And they gave examples such as pictures of Muslim women without their hijab. And they gave examples such as, oh, victims with their pictures of them with their arm around another person. These are the examples that they're giving because they're saying this is as distressing as the revenge prawn versus revenge prawn has been traditionally defined with some criteria involving full or partial nudity. And now they're saying, oh, well, in some communities, some cultures, some countries, this is the same thing. So this needs to be included. This
That's
this culturally sensitive material needs to be included in what we consider revenge prawn, essentially. Am I making sense so far? I just want to check.
Yeah, but that's crazy. I mean, I
Yeah.
agree that you shouldn't be. I mean, Jack was saying the same thing as I was thinking here. Jack is saying posting a picture of a hijabi woman who wants to be a hijabi without a hijab is immoral, but it's not effing revenge prawn or child prawn. Like that is not at all equivalent. It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, that is so bizarre. Like, just because it feels like them, like, are we going based on people's feelings? So, for example, would I like if I say that, hey, if you insult me, to me is as hurtful as you murdering my entire family, and if I really feel like I genuinely feel like that. So, are we not going to charge that a person just because it feels like that to me are going to charge legally the legal consequences of insulting me going to be the same as murdering my entire family because I said that this to me it feels the same thing? Like, is that
Yeah.
how the law works?
No, it's really difficult because they're basically engaging in a cultural relativism of what is nudity. And that's what's involved here. The fact that they gave the example of like, oh, the picture of a victim with their arm around another person. It what disturbs me is what this is the government involving itself in the enforcement of modesty standards, the enforcement of religious modesty standards. And once again, it's begging the question, are you bringing certain religious beliefs and privileging them in the law?
Yeah,
This kind of
right.
law, people are warning, if this was brought into effect, would be almost impossible to enforce because who decides? Who decides this? What is the line? How far are people going to go? And it's difficult because I'm also thinking about, okay, what happens if part of the criteria of what is considered about these kinds of images is around um they were taken when the victim had a reasonable belief in privacy. So basically, oh, like basically not taken in public, right? If taken on the sidewalk is one thing, right? But there in situations where there is a reasonable belief of privacy, I'm just thinking aloud when I was like, what happens if there is a woman who wasn't a hijabi and then decides to become a hijabi? And
Yes.
there are
Now you
all
have to
these
go
photos
back.
of her before she was a hijabi, and then people share these photos, maybe not even in a malicious intent, and now the woman considers that to be an intimate photo. Are we gonna be involved in criminalizing that person? Because again, this is for this also law, again, this is about the possession of the images, not merely the distribution of the images or the creation of the images, because the broader context of the law is once again enabling the government to go after the possession itself. So if you have pictures on your phone of a Muslim woman before she was a hijabi, are you criminalized for that? Because she decided to become a
Just
hijabi later. She later she felt that this was a standard for her nudity. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
why is the government getting involved in what is essentially a religiously conservative stance? It's insane. The idea that, oh, you have a photo of a Muslim woman with her arm around someone else, that could be criminalized. Why are you enforcing that? It's like, oh, that could have devastating impacts in the that could even be life-threatening for the victim. I think that sound speaks to a different issue. If a picture of a woman with her arm around someone else is life-threatening to her, how about we go after the people that are threatening her life? There's nothing wrong with her having her arm around someone else. It's pretty bonkers to me. Um, so yeah, now that I've kind of explained the broader context, like, what do you think?
Okay, so I'm just looking this up. In the UK right now, Muslims are 6.5% of the population, right? And it soon it will get to 10%. So this is what people didn't understand. This is what we were talking about. This is the level of Islamization you're getting in the UK with only 6.5%. When we were worried about the direction of Islamization of UK where it's heading, people were like, oh my god, you guys are exaggerating things. Like the statistics shows that it's going to get it's there's still going to be a minority. Like but think about it. If this is what you get at 6.5, what are you going to get at 10%? Like it's 10% is a minority, but it will be like around almost a little bit just under double. This is the level of Islamization you're getting with numbers that is only half of what we are going to eventually become. So just double the demographics, double the Islamization. This is just the beginning. This is crazy. Like this is just the start of it. I mean, we
Yeah.
haven't even started getting Muslims into politics as much as I mean, even with this order
Well, that's not
6.5.
true. They've started a Muslim
No,
voting
no,
bloc.
no, 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 no. Listen to what I'm saying.
Mm.
We haven't even started getting Muslims into politics into in levels that I'm anticipating. I know we already have we there or like we already, for example, we have some politicians that they're starting something that looks like an Islamic pro-Palestine party. Like this is just the beginning of it. Like so, I'm not saying that obviously they're in politics, but I'm saying the level of infrastructure and the institutions required for all of these. So we are basically the foundations. They're individuals in politics that are Muslims, but you can see that the foundations of something a lot more established and institutions are being built. So this is just the beginning of the infiltration of Muslims in politics in the UK. And even with the current demographics, like even if the demographics don't increase, you could see a lot more order and a lot more sophistication in the Muslim population basically uniting and creating their own political blocks in the UK. So even if the demographics doesn't double what it is right now, you are going you go this is a this has been a population that has been very loud but hasn't been very organized yet, as much as I anticipate they're going to become politically. But because they're loud, like you could have 6% of the population become as politically active as if they are 50% or 40% of the population. So there are two elements in making that happen. One, how loud and how motivated they are to become political, and they already had that. But another element that they haven't had that yet, and they're getting there, is to become more parallel when it comes to the political activism, more organized and a lot more established. And we are, for example, in the UK, we could see that some of the independent MPs are forming something that looks like their own party. And again, I tell you how this is going to work. It's always going to be central. The Palestinian issue, the Palestinian cause, is going to be the main rallying cry, because it cannot be Islam. So it's going to always be the Palestinian. And this is how you could see that the people, the leftist people in politics, who already have those networks, who already have the know-how, they are the ones who will create the base that and the infrastructure for as Muslims who are already politicians to create the infrastructure for them to have their own blocks. And you're going to see this 6% and eventually 10% represent themselves much more than what 6% of population would look like in politics. This is my prediction, and you'll see that, and you see the signs. Do you now what I was trying to say, that this is more clear? Because
Yeah.
I wasn't
No,
saying they're not. Yeah, okay, okay. All right.
anyways. Yeah, I just think that this is so I can see so many problems coming downstream. So many negative and chilling consequences if something like this is put into law. Like, first of all, why is the government involved in, again, pushing a religiously conservative understanding of modesty? That's not the role of the government. I think it's totally fine for the British government to say, we have our own standard of what is nudity, and we're going to continue to call that nudity, not your hair is showing. Okay. It's actually okay for Britain to assert that. Also, I feel like this just gives potential for obvious inconsistent, completely inconsistent and unenforceable standards. And also think about the way in which something like this could be completely weaponized by like abusive families and communities towards people that are dissidents, or towards like Muslim women, girls in their community who maybe don't want to conform, and pushing, ideas of being dishonored. I don't know. I think it's so insane and dangerous to be pushing for something like this. Now, in terms of the overall scope of what they're trying to do regarding the revenge prawn, and how they want to criminalize possession and not just the creation and distribution, like I don't know what the consequences are that are. I don't have a immediate problem with that. um but I just think that when you start bringing in culturally sensitive material, I feel like it's diluting the focus on real victims of very serious abuses. Like saying, because then legally, having one of these photos would be equivalent to having CSAM. And what is that supposed to mean for people? Are you going to have like a chilling effect where people and journalists like don't know if they can photograph women? Because maybe they think that's going to be too sensitive. I don't know. Um, but the fact that this is actually even being pushed for in the first place is just it's not great. Um, So let's go through the post.
Okay. So
So
this
this
is
is
just the news.
yeah.
This one.
Um so wait, scroll down a little bit more. So this person is saying if we simply deport the foreign MPs and deport the foreigners who want to dress in bin liners while living in Britain, the problem is easily solved. Okay, I wish people would stop saying stuff like this because it's just not gonna happen. It's not realistic. You say, "Oh, the foreign MPs, blah blah blah." I promise you, the majority of these people are British citizens, born in Britain.
Yeah, all of
It's
them
it,
are.
yeah. Also, the woman. I don't know about the background of the woman pushing this. Susan Owens, MP.
Deport. Like, guys, and people who say deport people who are already citizens, like, you're not helping. Like, you can't. It's not going to happen. Like, you could just, like, basically, you might as well just find a genie lamb and rub it and be like, hey, can you solve all the problems in the world? Hey, let's, like, we might as well just uh, go look for a, I don't know, a genie or something. Like, why are you coming up with solutions that are just not going to happen?
Yeah, the idea of like, oh, well, they're ethnically not Anglo-Saxon, so we have to deport them. It's like they have no second citizenship. What are you talking about?
It, I mean, even if it was something that you think would solve the problem, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
The problem is easily solved.
Yeah. So um, come up with another solution. I mean, people are going to find one example of somebody that was part of ISIS, and then they remove. Like, okay, yeah, that is like, that's not going to be like, you're not going to be able to do this in a high number of people. That's just one person. Yeah.
Shami is saying next sharing a picture of a man before he grew a beard makes him feel naked.
Yes. Yeah.
Look,
What
there are a
is
lot of men that feel naked
men
without their
equivalent?
beard for non-religious reasons. We call that the male BBL. The
You know
man's
what?
BBL
They
because
should.
it does so much
What
work
if
for that jawline, you know what I'm saying?
what if I was used to be fat and out of shape, and now I
Mm,
exercise and dieted, and now I look better, and there are pictures of me around. Like, there needs to be a man equivalent of this. Like, why do women just get these? Okay, so, and now I don't want that picture of me, of the fat version of me, to be around the internet. So I want the government to basically treat that like child prawn, like fat
yeah.
pictures of me, like, it needs to be treated like child prawn. The law should be, I want the law, I want the police of my country to be chasing people that might have fat pictures of me on
Oh,
their
Kenny's
phone.
saying the
How
male
about that,
equivalent balding.
Ben?
They're like,
You know what,
look, they're
I'm
making
just,
fun of my
how about
hairline.
this, I'm just, how about, what about this? What about, I just generally feel ugly and I don't want any pictures of me anywhere. Just, I decided that I just don't want pictures of me online or anywhere
Yeah.
at all, completely. Okay. Send the police into
Oh, the
people's
next
houses
logical
and
conclusion is gonna be sharing pictures of people before they transitioned. That's another logical conclusion.
that actually might, wait, we were joking, but now this might actually, this is actually a genuine, holy crap. Shut this down. Don't give them ideas, guys. End the stream. Delete the stream. Susie did not say that. Delete everything before before somebody's watching this. I'm like, actually, you're onto something, Susie.
I'm
Shit.
just saying.
No. Oh no, that's not good. That's not good. We shouldn't have done that. That's genius. Did you just think of that?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
woke
yeah.
genius. That's that is like, okay. That is okay. What is this one?
Yeah, seems the British political system is getting more idiotic by the day. Truly feel sorry for the British natives. It's just this it's it's this thing. Oh, this is okay. This is actually a perfect example of this. This is a different story. I can't remember if we covered this, but this is a real, the guys, this is a real thing that happened in the UK. This is a real thing that happened in the UK where there was this woman who was arrested for being an ISIS terrorist. Okay, I can't remember exactly what her involvement was, but she had involvement in ISIS. She got arrested in the UK. They took a mugshot of her. She got offended as a Muslim woman that they took a mugshot of her with her face and hair showing. It's a mugshot, and they apologized and took a mugshot used for the identification of a criminal, and they took a mugshot with niqab on, apologizing to her, the ISIS terrorist.
Sorry, ISIS terrorists. We apologize.
In a
The
mugshot, and they're
fuck?
like, "Oh, okay, we're going to release the mugshot of you with your face, and we're going to release the mugshot of you with the niqab onto the media."
Okay,
This
Susie, I'm
actually
worried. Is it?
happened, you guys. Because again,
Are
this
we?
this picture of her on the right, she's naked. She's naked. God forbid we can fucking identify a terrorist in a mugshot, just the entire purpose of a mugshot. I mean, this is a joke.
Okay. Um,
I hurt your fifis.
Susie, are we showing? Are we showing something right now that is the equivalent of a child pee? Because is this illegal now that we're showing
You
this?
have a I mean, this is a genuine question because this was non-consensual to her. This is an intimate image to her.
Oh wow. I mean, like, should we be worried? I mean, if we were in the UK, the police be
Well, okay,
knocking at the
because the
door.
status of the thing in the UK is this is just a thing that the minister, or is she the minister? What's her role? Sarah Owens, the committee chair of the House Commons Women's Inequality Committee. So once again, I would like to remind you guys that the chair, the woman in charge of the committee designed for women's equality, is saying, "Oh, we need to protect the people in hijab." And say, "Oh no, if you have your hair showing, that is actually the same as being naked." So much for freaking equality. What the hell?
By the way, the cat lady was making a good point. All mugshots are non-consensual. So that is actually that's the yeah, actually that's a good point. All right, so what's the comment here?
This person, this doesn't surprise me. They knelt for BLM and dance at Pride, but won't arrest terrorists. Okay, first of all, I don't necessarily, I don't see dancing at a at a Pride party the same as the other stuff. And also, won't arrest the terrorists. I mean, they literally did arrest the terrorist, you dumbass. That's why she has a
Yeah,
mugshot. But
mm, you're getting offended for the wrong reasons. Okay, so
yeah,
that was weird. And why are they doing this? Unbelievable.
I don't
I thought the
know.
police. Hmm.
I to fix this, there needs to be a major large scale attitude shift.
I think that for it to make complete clown world, that ISIS lady should sue the police for that picture and win a lot of money. So we could have the headline news: ISIS sues police for showing a mugshot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
meanwhile,
that
in
would be
places like Kyrgyzstan, they banned the niqab because they said this is
right.
foreign, this is alien to our culture.
So,
The Kurds were
here's a
like,
good
"We don't like this. This is we know militancy when we see it."
Okay, here's a good question. This is a very simple question, but it's a good question. You think, why are they doing this? Like, yeah, Susie, can you explain to people why are they doing this? Like, what's the point of all of this?
Who why is who doing what?
Like, why is the UK like acting like this?
I mean, that's a very broad question. You could point to like political voting blocks. You could point to, you know, high concentrations of certain communities in certain municipalities that swing the vote. You could you could point to a lot of things. I mean, I would say generally it's a loss in confidence of our own values. That's what I would
I
say.
think
It's a loss in confidence in our own values because they're not confident enough in them to say, "No, we actually demand this and we think it's good, and you will do this as a condition of being a part of this nation."
yeah, I
That's how
mean
I see
that's
it.
the simple version of that is that when we were saying 10 years ago, right, 15 years ago, that we were saying changing demographics with people with different values is going to change the values and eventually the politics of your country, and that is a threat to the way of your life, we were right. It's simple as that. You change the demographics, you change values, you change values, you change the politics, you change the politics, you change the laws. That's why people say demographics are destiny. They're not wrong.
Gasian is saying the People's Republic of China cameras take face pics of people jaywalking and then publicly shame them with their national ID. Not for the jaywalking. I don't know where I land on surveillance versus face veils. Calling it corn seems extreme, though. I think that's a fair way of putting it. I think many people have many hesitations with the nature of far-reaching surveillance, but this is just extreme. Um, yeah, it's rough. There's a lot that I want to cover. There was another story of oh, someone brought it up in the live chat. Wait, what was it? Ah, crap. There was this MP, I forget where he's from, probably Birmingham, where he's been proposing the UK needs to invest in an international airport in Mirpur, Pakistan. And I was like, and then
What
they're
was
like,
that?
how dare you accuse us of not being loyal to the UK? How dare you accuse us of being a fifth column? They're like, I don't know. You want to put British taxpayer dollars towards uh, airport and Mirpur? Like, I don't
Wow. So that is that the direction that we could be heading? Like if so it's not just Islamization of UK, it could be also because most of the Islamization of the UK is Pakistanis, right?
know.
So we could even have the Pakistanization of the UK, which is actually even worse maybe than Islamization, okay? Which is to the point where you could get UK resources being directed towards Pakistani interest. Is that the future of the UK?
Well, yeah, because that MP with his constituency, he's like, this is a
Holy
concern
crap.
of my constituency.
I am actually scared. Well, this is terrifying to think about.
Um, man, what
Holy
was the other
crap. I'm actually
story?
even
I don't know. Crap. Someone was bringing it up in the chat. Now I'm not going to be able to find it. Wanted to cover it. Fuck. Anyways, um, wait, can you tell me what Umran is saying, Armin?
عمران say من خیلی دلتنگت بودم امیدوارم
Oh,
همه امورات تو ردیف باشه. Okay, so it's saying I was very I don't know if I was very I missed you a lot. I hope everything is in place in your life. All your life is in place. Basically, Susie.
oh, thank
Oh,
you.
she's telling.
خیلی
Yes.
ممنون.
Every
I remember
basically
what the
saying I hope
story was.
everything is going well for you.
Armin, you know how you were talking about like, yes, D, thank you. D, God, she's our number one for a reason. Um, when you're saying, oh, to make this actual clown world, that ISIS terrorist needs to sue for the mugshot and win. I mean, we should
Right.
actually talk about how Hamas is like suing the UK.
Maybe we should. Yeah. Should that be the next story? Like news? Like next week's story? We
Yeah,
should cover that.
Also, we need to talk about the massacre that happened in Nigeria.
Zayd is saying, how do you go from the world's biggest empire to a third world shithole in 100 years? Okay. Oh, by the way, I saw my stream. The stream. You're right. The stream was removed. So the stream I did on the attack was removed by YouTube.
Damn.
Should I share this on the screen so people could see?
Yeah, as long as there's nothing sensitive on there.
Okay. So guys, like, let me see if there's anything sensitive. No.
Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. So guys, help me out here. It says misinformation policy. Let me actually make this larger here like that. Okay, so here. Let's put this. So I did a stream saying Islamist terrorists slaughter tourists in Kashmir. And take a look at your content misinformation policy. So this was removed. I could take
Misinformation.
action. Misinformation? What misinformation? Guys, did I say anything wrong in that stream?
Well, now we can't watch it back to find out.
I mean, we can, is here. But guys, is it because the thumbnail was AI? Is that the thumbnail? Was the thumbnail too realistic and it could have been seen as a real picture? Or is it something in the content? I have to investigate this. It doesn't tell me though. This content is removed from you. Here's what you need to do. If you like to
Okay,
appeal.
we
Okay.
need to look into this later. That's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to do that after the show. All right. So I'm gonna put this on screen. Can you tell me, is this the next story? Do I have it right?
Yes, 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 yes.
Oh, by the way, we have 2 super chats. Let's do the super chats first.
Oh, yay.
Thank you, guys. Guys, we will read the super chats between the stories. Again, please send us super chats or become members if you can, because we need these because that's how this channel survives. Okay, the ad revenue is like nothing. It's very low. So thank you. So let's do
Cat
the
lady
super
was
chat.
saying that it got removed, by the way, because of the juice.
Juice, the juice, it's the juice.
Okay. Well, I'm not okay. This person, thank you for the super chat, the 20 Swedish krona, saying, have Dawa already taken part of UK government? I think they mean like, has Dawa infiltrated the UK government?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
If by Dava you mean Islamic influence, if that's what you mean by Dava, yes. If you
Yeah.
mean has the UK government is doing Dava itself, that is scary to think about. Maybe one day. I mean, I saw your prime minister speaking about how Islam should be respected and shit. So that's Dava. So yeah, actually, actual Dava has infiltrated the UK government as well. So
Yeah.
that's scary.
Well, I mean, there are lots of mosques that do Dawa that get public funds. Does that count?
Okay. Yeah, that does count. That does count.
I
That
mean,
does
for
count.
various reasons.
Yes.
Gasian gave a super chat. Thank you, Gasian, saying California and New York allows women to go topless where men are, as it violates the Equal Protection Act. Topless can't be used to advertise, though. So basically saying like you're allowed to be topless in the same places where men are allowed to be topless as a matter of equality
Mm-hmm.
under the law. I actually didn't know they had
Mm-hmm.
that uh as a law in California. Um yeah.
I don't know
It's
if
like
that's I don't know I don't know if that makes sense though, because people are like, oh, if men could go topless, then women should go topless as well. Well, I mean, is the men's chest are not as sexually, you know, when women's breasts are like very like inherently very sexual to men, much more than men's chest are to women. So it's not equal. It's but
yeah,
like
no, a lot
it's
of people would say
inherently
that,
not
"Oh,
equal.
no, that's just a matter of our." They basically make like a
No,
culturally more relative argument. And I
it's not
actually changed my
cultural.
mind on that. I think breasts are inherently sexual.
Yes, breasts are like much more
I used to be like, "What
sexual
are you talking
than
about?" And then I'm like, "Nah, let's look at evolution. Let's be freaking honest here."
right. No, so they're saying, Armin, you're speaking from a straight man's perspective. No, for even from a straight woman's perspective, um, the way men look at women's boobs is not the same way as women look at men. I mean, it's not. It is sexually pleasing, but not in the same. It's not in the same way. Not even remotely close. I mean, Susie might be the best person to talk to here because she's bi. What do you think, Susie? Are they the same? Like, I'm not saying if they're
Sorry, I was just
attractive.
thinking about my boyfriend's chest. You were saying
No, I'm not talking about you know what. Okay, I don't even know I should say that. I'm talking about the okay,
what, the hairy
never
chest?
mind. Yes, yes, I can say
Yeah.
that. Okay, I'm not I'm not talking about the hair. I'm talking about the chest itself. Okay. As a bi woman, is our woman's boob more sexual than man's chest? Not attractive. I'm just saying sexual. You know, I think you know what I mean.
Yes.
Okay, there you
It's
go.
not as
There's
different
that's
as
the
you would
answer.
think, though, to be honest.
Hmm.
It depends on how hairy the chest is. That's gonna bring it more towards sexual for me.
Yeah, but for you, it's about the hair, not about the chest itself. That's a different thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.